那么下面有请来自卡迪夫大学孔子学院的4号选手陈婕。4号选手，请打开摄像头，解除静音。当你准备完毕后，请示意。
谢谢主持人，我准备好了。
好的，那么接下来你将会进行15分钟的讲课，那么时间进行到第14分钟的时候会有计时的提醒，那么请开始。
Okay, thank you. Good morning. My name is Chen Jie. I'm from Cardiff Confucius Institute. I have been in the Confucius classroom in North Wales for the past 2 years, living in Conway, which is geographically closer to Bangor Confucius Institute. I learned Chinese painting from a young age. Working at Confucius Institute, I have been able to use this skill to teach Chinese Mandarin, to teach Chinese painting and calligraphy in addition to teaching Chinese Mandarin. Okay, so today my session is going to be on traditional Chinese painting. Now I'm going to share my screen, okay. Okay, so you should be looking at my PowerPoint slides now. Okay, so before I start the session, let me introduce the design of the course. The target audience of this course is both secondary school students in years 12 to 13 who have not been exposed to Chinese culture. The length of this course is 1 hour, and it is divided into 3 main parts. The first part is an introduction to general knowledge of Chinese painting, which takes about 20 minutes, including 5 minutes of discussion and Q&A. And the second part is an online workshop with students painting Chinese plum blossoms, which takes about 20 minutes. And the last 20 minutes are for discussion and free drawings in small groups. In the breakout rooms, students will choose their own subject to paint and experiment with the Chinese painting techniques they have just learned. So in my presentation, I will present the first 2 parts briefly in 12 minutes. Okay, so now I will start my session. Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to Confucius Classroom. In this workshop, we are going to explore a little bit of traditional Chinese painting. First, I will show some interesting facts about Chinese painting. Okay, now what we are looking at are the tools of traditional Chinese painting and calligraphy, called 4 treasures of the study. So the first one is 笔, the brush, and then 纸, the paper, and 砚, the inkstone. 砚is used as a palette, so it is quite heavy. It is made of stones, so it is quite heavy. And there is one thing among them that I left blank, and I would like you to guess what this is. So on the inkstone in the picture, there is a black stick, the same thing I'm holding in my hand now. This one. Okay, so can anyone guess what this is? Please put your answer in the chat box. Okay, some of you have got the right answer. So this thing is an ink stick, which is used to get ink. So I will show you how it works in a moment. So unlike in Europe, the tools for painting and writing in ancient China were exactly the same, because most of the artists who painted in ancient China were not professional artists, but scholar bureaucrats. They spent most of their lives in their studies, where paintings and calligraphy were important pastimes. Therefore, it is very common to write a poem on the painting or a few words to express their feelings after painting it. Not all, but most Chinese paintings have writings on them. For Chinese scholars, the writing should not only be accurate, but also beautiful. And beautiful handwritings represents one's upright character. And also there is no shadows in Chinese paintings. As a result, Chinese paintings always give a very clear and transparent look. Also, in Chinese paintings, there isn't a fixed point perspective. When you look at a Chinese painting, your point of view is moving, just like shift photography. So many Chinese paintings are scrolls. The picture is very long, and what we are looking at is the most famous Chinese landscape painting along the river during Qingming Festival, which is 5 meters long but only 25 centimeters high, a very narrow, long strip that is usually rolled up as a scroll. So people who view this painting will naturally move their eyes from right to left. So at the same time, the point of view shifts. So these are some fun facts about Chinese painting. So I hope you find them interesting. So do you have any questions? Okay, there is a question in the chat box. Why are so many Chinese paintings not colored? Excellent question, thank you. As I mentioned earlier, most of the artists in ancient China were not professional painters, but scholar bureaucrats. And they did their arts in their studies. Not everyone has paint in their workplace, so they just used what's at hand, water and ink. Does that make sense to you? Okay, now let's try to paint a traditional Chinese painting of plum blossoms. Plum blossoms are an important motif in Chinese painting. The plum blossoms bloom in the winter, the coldest season of the year, so they symbolize not being afraid of difficult situations and thriving in adversity, just like we're now facing the COVID pandemic, okay? And we must carry on in the troubled times. Now I will switch the screen share to a second camera that's capturing my desktop. Bear with me. Okay, now you should be looking at my desktop now. Okay, now let's get the 4 treasures ready. So firstly, bi, so bi brushes, and then more, the ink stick that I just showed you, and the zhi, of course, the Shen paper, famous Shen paper from China, and last, yan, the inkstone. So how do we use the ink stick to get ink? Firstly, we take some water from here. I put water here, and I wet the inkstone first, and I grind the ink stick gently like this. So keep doing this for a while, and we can get ink here. So because of the time limits, I'm not going to use the traditional way to get ink because it takes some time. So I'm just going to use the bottled ink like this. And now let's put the ink and the paint we need in the palette. It's a bit, okay. Now, take one of your brushes and get some water, get the paint, not too much, just at the tips of your brush. Okay, we start with the flower petals. The shape of plum blossom petals, or the shape of them is round. So I just draw it round like this. So this is a flower facing the front. Now let's draw another one facing the side. Okay. Let's do it here. Okay, so this flower is facing the side. Okay, now let's draw another one facing the back. So because it's facing the back, so we can just draw it, flower petals touching each other. So this one's facing the back side, a smaller one. Okay, so now that we have drawn 3 flowers, now let's get another brush and get some ink to draw the twigs and branches. Okay, firstly, I always just link the flowers with the twigs first. So don't get too much water with your brush when you are drawing the branches, because the branches of the plum trees are actually have dry skins, so we can create a texture, like a very dry texture with dry brush, like this. Okay, maybe just one more. It's like here, and some more twigs goes up like this. Okay, now let me see how you're doing. Please hold your paintings to the camera. Okay, very well. Well done, everyone. Now we're going to add some details to the flowers. So this time, let's get as much ink as possible with your brush. Get as much ink as you can, and we're going to draw the stamen of the flowers. Start with the first one. Okay, take your time, be patient, be careful. So start with a little tiny circle in the center, and you draw it like this. So the shape of the flower stamens looks just like fireworks in the night sky. So just be careful with it. And one done, okay? Now 2 to go. This one facing the side. So it's the same. Let's get as much ink as possible with a brush. And because it's facing the side, let's draw it this way. Okay, another one done. And this one facing the back. So it's like this. So don't forget to link it with the twig here. Okay. Now I'm just gonna add some flower buds here. The flower buds just are round red little circles here. Just a few of them. Okay, all done. That's all of my presentation. Thank you very much. 谢谢。
好的，感谢4号选手。那么接下来呢，请评委进行提问。
你好，陈杰，谢谢你的展示，很有意思。这个看得出来，你的画画功底也不浅。这个我相信你的学生们也会，尤其是从未接触过中国传统这个水墨画的学生，可能他们的体验应该是很有趣的，而且能够从中感受到，我觉得，因为你这是中国文化课嘛。他们应该能够从中感受到中国我们的传统美术啊，这个水墨画和西方的，比如说他们的水彩画之间的相通之处和不同之处，所以这个体验应该是非常好的。我有一个问题，你的这个课呢，一共是1个半小时，前面大概有15分钟你是介绍，对不对？然后你今天给我们展示的是你介绍中的一部分，然后就是25分钟的这个工作坊，就实际的画画。这个水墨画是一个很大很大的题目，你要把这个水墨画在这个20分钟，你的设计时间是20分钟吧？好像是15分钟，实际上是15分钟来介绍清楚。那么选择什么东西来介绍，就是一个非常其实是一个不容易的一件事情。我看你选了文房四宝，然后选了《清明上河图》，你能不能跟我讲一下，你为什么选这2个？你觉得这2个就能够让学生们明白什么是中国水墨画吗？或者是跟你今天要跟他们做的实际上的这个绘画练习有什么关系吗？
谢谢老师啊。这个我选择这2样东西来介绍。首先，文房四宝是我们创作水墨画的工具，然后跟西方那种厚重的油画有很大的区别。然后老师刚才说的就是咱们15分钟内能不能让学生完全明白这个水墨画，我觉得这是不太可能的。我觉得我们的任务不是就是说我们的任务应该倾向于让学生感兴趣，然后有一个概念说，水墨画跟我们的油画这么的不同，然后有兴趣之后，他课后会再去自己去做那个研究，所以他能了解更多的中国文化，甚至绘画之外的其他的中国文化。然后选择文房四宝，主要是让他们能够理解水墨，这个就是尤其是像纸，我们用的纸是很薄的，很轻薄，我们中国画整个是一个半透明的这种感觉。要让他们能理解这个材质，要不然很多这个西方的学生，尤其是小朋友、中学生，他们不能理解为什么你们的画这么的薄，为什么你们的画没有颜色，为什么你们的画就是不能覆盖，他们可能不能理解。然后，所以我选择了文房四宝来进行介绍。然后《清明上河图》呢，我选择它的原因有2个。第一个，它是我们这个古代最有名的山水画。西方其实山水画的题材开始的比中国晚很多，就是它风景画的题材比中国晚很多，所以我认为山水画是中国画中的一个非常大的特色。然后，所以我选择了《清明上河图》这个最有名的山水画来进行介绍。然后其次是它是一个卷轴的形式，也是西方学生从来没有接触过的，所以他们看到这个卷轴非常的有意思，所以我希望他们能通过这个对中国画，尤其是还有这个就是视角移动，为什么中国画没有透视？因为我们是卷轴，我们怎么做一点透视呢？对不对？就是这些比较基础的一些他们可能有疑问的问题，然后向他们进行展示。谢谢老师。
我就是有一个建议，就是如果以后你再上这样的课的话，可能最好跟他们的水彩画也来比较一下。
好的，谢谢老师。
因为尤其是你后面的实践课里面的你的用笔啊，你其实有很多技巧的。我就在想，因为英国孩子学画画的可多了，尤其学水彩画的特别多。他们对基本的素描啊、水彩都是有一定的功底的，所以那他们可能感受不到水墨画的特，除了你说的纸张不一样以外。好，谢谢。
谢谢老师。
好，陈老师, I'd like to ask you a question. I actually would like to ask the same question as Chen 老师, but I think today, if you design a follow-up lesson to check how much the students understand about the Chinese painting, what would you plan to do?
A follow-up lesson? Do you mean like another workshop after this lesson?
Yes. If you design another lesson to check how much the students understand, what would you plan?
So I think in this workshop, because we have a small group, like a free drawing session, so we can see like a little, like how much do they understand about Chinese paintings, Chinese art in that session. We can see just a little maybe, and if we have a chance to have a follow-up section, maybe I think we can introduce some other art forms such as calligraphy, so we can see like how they understand the Chinese calligraphy and art combined together as an art form, or the other. Okay, so that's my answer. Sorry, my time's up.
Thank you.
谢谢老师，
谢谢。
谢谢。
好的，感谢4号选手陈婕。